Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one, yes, still number one Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our January 13th, 2025 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including Puppy Bowl, Superman going to be featured in Puppy Bowl. We've got a new image of David Corenswet as Superman. We've got some news around the Superman, the Christopher Reeve story documentary being a TV premiere, all that and so much more. And joining me, as always, are my two co-hosts. Firstly, Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Gentlemen, how are y'all doing?
Doing well. And Mark Lax. How are you, Mike? Mark?
Steve, Mike, how you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Now, welcome back, Mark. Happy New Year. We didn't get to see you last week. You were
Happy New Year, thank you.
having some technical issues, so I'm glad that your laptop's all back and running, up and running. Technical issues seem to be a theme for 2025 so far.
Yes, a big thing.
Which we will get to in a second. Gentlemen, what's been happening this week? Michael, anything on your front? I see you doing a few podcast things roundabout. Been following you on your Facebook
Yeah,
page.
just working on a series. Working on a series that I'm going to be rolling out starting in February,
Nice.
where I'm going through all of the Superman films. So that was much bigger than I thought it was going to be, but it's worked
Very
out
good.
nicely.
Excellent. And Mark, anything new on your side of the world?
No, nothing. Nothing great, or no, I shouldn't say that. Nothing special that has been that's been
Fair
happening.
enough.
So just been
Very
hanging
good.
in.
Hanging in there.
Just been
All
hanging
right.
in.
Well, tonight we are streaming live across our YouTube channel, Instagram, and our Facebook page is back up online, and also our website is back up online. It's like it was a shocking start to 2025. We're going to get a little bit into what's been going on, but we're happy to be streaming across all those platforms. So welcome, whether you are on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. We appreciate you joining in and joining with us tonight for the following hour of Superman content. We want to thank our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray, and they have purchased our coffee, or my coffee, for me. I'll get rid of that Instagram notification. Thank you to Douglas, John, and Tina for your support sponsoring the show. Those fine folks are the reason why we are up and running, as always, each week. So thank you for this week's coffee. And want to thank everyone who's joining in live tonight to be with us on any of those streaming platforms. Thank you for spending the time with us. If you want to join those fine folks and sponsor the show, then all you have to do is head to patreon.com/Superman homepage, where you can be a sponsor, or on YouTube you can click the join button. The join button below. There are different levels of sponsorship, membership with different levels of perks. So make sure you do that and help keep the show alive. Now, Michael, fans can participate in the show tonight. How do they go about doing that?
No, it's dirt simple. You go to supermanhomepage.com/live
Whoop.
and press the call now button. And that'll put you into the green room where you can watch the show and wait to get on if we have the time for it. You can also use your smartphone and scan the QR code, which will take you right to it. If you are using your computer, please, and are using an external speaker to watch the show, please put that on mute or put on a pair of headphones. And if you're using your smartphone, please use your headset or your AirPods, as we're on a bit of a delay, and for some reason using your speakerphone on your smartphone is just terrible. There's this crackle that I don't understand.
Make sure you follow those rules and regulations if you want to be part of the show tonight. And if you're a little bit shy and you don't want to get on the phone tonight to talk to us, then feel free to participate in the comments there on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We can see what you're saying. We will react to those comments as we go along tonight, and we will answer any questions you might have as we see them in the live comment feed. But if you want your comment or question featured live on the screen tonight and you're on YouTube, all you have to do is click the dollar symbol there on your YouTube feed. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate. We will feature your comment or question live on the screen as we go along tonight. All right, so with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's jump into what's been going on tonight. Mark, it's not frozen on our side. We can actually see you. So I know you're thinking it looks like it's frozen for you, but we can actually see you, Mark. So hopefully, and hear you.
Okay.
So maybe the feed is frozen for you, but we can still hear you and see you. So keep at it. All right.
It's frozen on my end. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you and see you. You're moving fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll type.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
So, yes, first and foremost, need to address the elephant in the room, the Superman homepage. Superman homepage was down for a week.
All right.
We had an issue a technical issue where the website went down. There's a whole article up there on the website now for you to read to see all the nitty-gritty about exactly what happened. But I want to publicly thank my brother-in-law, Joe Karmas, from Karmas Consulting. He is the reason the website is up because of his input and expertise. And if not for him, we wouldn't be here today because the people who are part of the support crew at the hosting company were not as knowledgeable or as forthcoming as I would have liked. And only because of Joe's input that things went our way. And now we are in the process of, we're going to upgrade our server. We're going to move to a better, faster, more modern machine. So with the new movie coming out, we want to make sure that we are able to cope with everyone visiting the Superman homepage during what will be a busy time. There are a few kinks, things that are not working, but they should all be ironed out in the next couple of weeks. So bear with us as we go through a little bit of a teething issue, but thank goodness the website is back up and running. I want to thank everyone for their messages of support. Thank you so much for the emails and text messages and other things that I received over that period. It was very stressful, as we spoke about last week, but we are back up and running. So great news. And we had to hire some extra expertise. Joe got some extra people in. This was the gentleman who helped us out. I believe that's him on.
What he figured out, Steve, was the problem is that you needed to use two keys at the same time.
At the same time?
That's at the same time. So you had to, and the guy he was with was drunk. He passed out. And it was this whole thing, and he turned the key, and suddenly the site was back up. So yay!
Indeed. So there you have it. Thankfully, everything is back up running. Thank you, Gus and Joe. Really, Joe. All right. So let's push on to tonight's topics. We've got.
So that's all it is, then.
Yep, that's all it was. Just the keys. Just the keys. All right, let's jump into a look at what's going on with the side of Superman as far as the movies are concerned. And we are now less than 6 months away from the new Superman movie being on our screens. July 11th this year, new Superman movie, less than 6 months away. Wow, can't believe it. We're already counting down less than 6 months.
Yeah, it only seems like a year ago that it was 18 months.
Yeah, well,
no, it's really weird that it seems to be steamrolling faster and faster. Like back around this time last year, it just seemed so far away, and now it seems so within reach. It's kind of funny. It's time to really start enjoying ourselves in this year of Superman.
Yeah.
Waiting on Mark. I think there's a little bit of a delay between what Mark's hearing and what we're waiting for him to respond to. So Mark, pipe up whenever you want, and we will we will let you have your say. But yeah, there is a massive delay for Mark at the moment, so we apologise for the lag on that side of things.
Yes, I have a delay. Yes, I have a delay, but I will. Yeah,
This is
He's having a
sorry.
conversation with you from 30 seconds ago. It's amazing.
But yeah. So I will. I'll have my say because I know it'll get caught up. Yeah, it's with my having conversations with myself. It's no, I'm really looking forward to this. The trailer and everything has just got me so excited. Um, I'd like to. I'll have to rewatch the trailer. I've already seen it a few times. It's just getting very exciting. And you're saying the year of 2025 is the year of Superman, and it is. I mean, the comics are back up there, and hopefully there'll be more stuff because the movie is coming out. But I'm just really excited about the whole thing.
excellent. Mark, we might get you to hang up, or I might hang up on you and get you to call back in, just so that hopefully that lag won't be an issue when you get back on. So we'll do that. Mark will be back with us shortly. All right, as we wait for Mark to get back in, we'll push on with the new look at David Corenswet as Superman that was shown to us thanks to USA Today. Here is the image that was on an article by USA Today in which they look at some of the most anticipated movies of 2025, and with Superman being the first and foremost amongst them. Other films include, what have we got? We've got Captain America Brave New World, Paddington in Peru, Snow White, Karate Kid Legends, and so many others that are on that list from USA Today. But for us, we're worried about Superman. And Michael, what did you make of this image?
It's not world shattering. A lot of people were very excited about it because we're excited about any new official images. I think really what it does is just gives us a really good look at the top of the costume,
Mm-hmm.
and that the collar is not as New 52 as I previously thought. It dips down a little bit more,
Yeah, which is
but
great.
it looks good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Mark, you're back with us. What were your thoughts on that
I
image?
I think it looks great. It looks like a positive image. It's just you can see him. He's not exactly smiling, but he's not. You could just tell he kind of like whatever it is he's doing at that moment as Superman. Even walking down the street, he just looks like he's enjoying himself. And the actual look at close up as far as the cape and the collar, I have no problem with it. I mean, would I have done it a little differently? Maybe,
Yeah,
but
yeah, me
I
too.
like it. I do. And I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue the issue. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I'm
And I'm
glad the
happy
collar
with the whole.
isn't as high as it has the new 52 actual costume was. It dips there a little bit
Yeah,
at the neckline. It's not up as high, or doesn't fold over or anything like that. So I would prefer the more traditional neckline and the way the cape tucks under the cape, under the costume, rather than into some kind of a gap in the costume. But I'm not going to argue the point either. I think it looks good, and in motion, as we've seen in the trailer, it looks pretty nifty. So happy for that image. And you get all the negative naysayers in comments, as you always do. So yeah, Kenneth Crowley Jr. saying that the collar reminds me a little bit of Tyler's Superman suit from Supergirl, but without the belt buckle attachments, as we've referenced many times before. It's not dissimilar. Yeah, July 11th, 2025 cannot come soon enough. But before then, we will get another look. Our next preview will be during Puppy Bowl in February. I have never watched Puppy Bowl. What's it, Puppy Bowl 21, I'm guessing. Sunday, February 9th. James Gunn and his dog Ozu, who inspired the portrayal of Crypto in the upcoming film, will make a special appearance during the broadcast. James Gunn will introduce exclusive footage from the new Superman movie and deliver a personal message to fans tuning in. Hopefully it will also be released online, because I don't think we get Puppy Bowl here in Australia. But I'm guessing, Michael, you're a big fan and you'll be watching this.
I'm not necessarily a fan of Puppy Bowl. I think it's adorable because usually it's chaos because they actually have actual puppies playing football on a miniaturized field. And for our international audience, that's American football. It's not soccer. Uh, so there is a difference, and it's not rugby because they actually have pads. Um, and that's not what rugby is. So. I was trying to wind Steve up there a little bit, but it didn't work because he's so passive. No, I'm just really kind of excited. I think the thing I've been having a lot of conversations lately with people about the new movie
Mm-hmm.
and about how, and we talked about this last week a little bit, that they're really going in a way that I don't think Man of Steel did. And it's not that Man of Steel was lesser for this. It's just the marketing of that film was very much of, this is a brand new version of Superman. Come check it out. Whereas this one is trying to attract the 4-quadrant audience of the entire family. And if you, by having crypto, you have a dog. And if you're going to do an innovative promotion for your film for the Super Bowl, which a lot of movies do, if you got a dog, do it at the Puppy Bowl. And it'll get people on Max. I mean, they have it on a variety of platforms too, which is kind of nice. So it's not like they're just doing it on the Discovery app. It's on True TV. It's going to be on Max. It's going to be on Discovery. So, at least in the United States, it's going to be pretty widely available, which I think is a really smart move. Oh, Animal Planet too, of course. So,
Yeah, there you go.
and TBS. So this thing's
Yes.
everywhere. Oh my God.
I will not be watching Puppy Bowl, but at the end, I'm sure this will all be on, the new preview and all that will be online. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
looking at that immediately once that hits. But yeah, it's a good marketing scheme. I mean, gosh, watching, everyone's talking about crypto for positive or negative, and mostly I think positive.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking about crypto. So I think doing it at the Puppy Bowl is a very, very smart thing to do. And the puppies are adorable. Puppies are adorable. I love dogs. I love puppies. But it's not my thing to just watch them just running around like that. But I will, as soon as the new preview hits online, I will be there to watch it.
Yeah, so 1 p.m., February 9th, Sunday, February 9th, 1 p.m. is the pre-show, which the preview will be part of, and the main event starting at 2 p.m. So set your calendars and your reminders, and again, I'm sure it won't be long before it gets online as well, because James Gunn is pretty savvy with that kind of stuff, and it will be available either straight away on his social media accounts on YouTube or the official supermanmovie.net website. So, and as soon as it's available, we will also make it available on supermanhomepage.com. All right, so that's Puppy Bowl, the next preview for the upcoming Superman movie. All right, beyond that, we are looking elsewhere in the world of Superman with movie news and crossover between movie news and the television side of things. The documentary film, the Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, will be available, will have its TV premiere on CNN. It will take place on February 2nd, Sunday, February 2nd. Will be a live stream for pay TV subscribers via CNN.com, CNN Connected TV, and mobile apps. And the film will also be available on demand beginning Monday, February 3rd to pay TV subscribers via CNN, CNN Connected TV, and mobile apps and cable operator platforms. So, it's great that people who don't have it'll be Sunday, February 2nd at 9 p.m. That's Eastern Pacific time on CNN. So if you have CNN, you'll be able to watch it. And that's great because at the moment it's only available to subscribers of Max, the streaming service. So great news. TV premiere Sunday, February 2nd on CNN.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
and,
glad
and
they're.
CNN tends to play these things over and over again, so it'll be nice. Plus, it'll be nice because there's not much going on CNN right now.
No. No,
Just endless
it'll
coverage.
it's yeah. Well, that will be a nice little break, I think, for the viewers of CNN. But I'm glad they're giving it a wider berth, so a lot more people could watch this.
Mm. So, and people keep asking me, when will this be available on Blu-ray or DVD? There hasn't been an announcement as yet. It won't be long, I imagine, because I'm sure, it will have its run on CNN and on Max, and then it will be available before too long on Blu-ray and DVD. As soon as there is a pre-order available for it, you can be sure that we'll be announcing that for you on supermanhomepage.com and on all our social media channels. So wait for that. One of our good friends and Superman homepage members and helpers, Patrick James Aslan, is watching us live from Facebook tonight and says that he'll be hanging out with a plethora of Superman actors at MegaCon in Orlando while Puppy Bowl is taking place because there are a huge amount of Superman actors, voice and live action TV movie actors all at MegaCon Orlando on that same weekend of February. So if you're in that area, you don't want to miss out on that. That is a massive collection of Superman people attending.
Yeah, it's. Is he personally hanging out with them, or is he just going to be at the same convention with them?
He'll
I'm
just be
kind
at
of
the same
curious
convention, but
look, you never know. He might be like watching the Super Bowl with him that night, which would be
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in that room. That would be very interesting. All right, so now tonight we might get a call in from a gentleman who was part of this next story. David Kosher put together a fan gathering of a script reading of the unmade Christopher Reeve script for Superman Reborn on November 12th. That took place last year. It was a once-in-a-lifetime event and the first live script reading of Superman Reborn, the unproduced fifth film in the Christopher Reeve Superman series. It was hosted at the Broadway Theatre in Santa Monica Boulevard, and a room full of guests and fans were there as part of this event. And it was professionally recorded and is now available to watch in its entirety on YouTube. Here is a short clip from that reading. Check it out, and I believe David is going to be calling in tonight to have a chat with us. But have a look at this little bit of a clip from that video.
A whoosh as our POV rapidly pulls up, leaving the elderly lady and others in the crowd looking up at us from below. The convertible speeds along. The punk greedily rifles through the purse for cash. The flying POV zooms down the street and overtakes the flying car from the rear. Fleeing car from the rear. Closer, closer, until we fly right over the car and drop down in front of it. Dramatic on a pair of red boots as they drop into frame, the flowing red cape rustling in the breeze. The convertible screeches to a stop in front of the magnificent Superman. And this is the first time we lay eyes on the Man of Steel, dramatically standing in the middle of the street, hands on his hips, powerful, strong, purposeful, silent for a long beat.
Ah, geez, not this guy. I hate this guy.
The driver punk slams the car into reverse and attempts to back away. Superman reaches out, grabs the hood of the car. Close on his fingers as like steel pins, they plunge into the metal of the hood, holding the car in place. Rear wheels burn rubber. The car goes nowhere.
You were speeding.
Cut to, on the street, day. Passers-by are stopping and looking up, pointing. They can't believe what they're seeing.
Look, up in the sky.
What is it?
I forgot it's a car, I think. I think it's a flying car.
Damn those Japanese cars.
On the flying convertible day, Superman is sitting in the driver's seat, his boots stuck through the floorboard of the car, both ankles firmly wedged against the metal frame of the chassis. Wherever Superman goes, the car goes. His hands grip the steering wheel. The punks frantically grab their seats, wide-eyed as the convertible climbs into the air at a steep angle.
You guys are buckled up, aren't you?
The car levels out 500 feet.
So there's just a bit of the script reading for Superman Reborn, which, as I said, was filmed in Los Angeles in November and is now available to watch in full on YouTube at David Koch's YouTube channel, or you can watch it on supermanhomepage.com. And I believe if he has time tonight, David is planning to call in to chat with us tonight. So we look forward to having a chat with him about that. But thoughts?
The version of the script that I read is not that version.
Okay.
Apparently it's another draft. Because of the one that's commonly available on the internet. Jim Bowers said it's a different one. And if anybody's going to know, it's going to be Jim Bowers. But no, I think it's fascinating because what a different world it would have been if they had made that film in the early 90s. And continued Christopher Reeve in the role. I remember being a teenager around that time period, and Comic Scene magazine had a column at the back of every issue called Comic Screen. And there was this it's going to be Superman, the new movie. It's going to be Superman 5. It's going to be Superman Reborn. And at one point they were talking about maybe just giving Gerard Christopher a Superman movie. And it's just great that all these years later, well over 30 years later, we get to have them do a performance of this. And I'm looking forward to actually getting the chance to sit down and watch it. I haven't had a chance to yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is a third draft of this story leaked online years ago, but this will showcase a never before seen first. So this was a first draft of the script. So a third draft is online, and what is maybe what you had read. Sorry, Michael, but this is a never before seen first draft that this reading was done on. What do you think, Mark?
I think it looked great. They were having fun, and it sounded great, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. I remember when it wasn't exactly announced, but I remember around the time they were saying, "Oh, they're thinking about a movie now, and they're going to shrink Superman down, and or something to that effect." I remember them, talking about that, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. But of course, and they said it was Carrie Bates was one of the writers, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very familiar with Carrie Bates reading Superman, so I said, oh, that was cool, And then of course nothing came of it, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it's funny to hear the audience laughing at certain beats and the voice actors putting on different accents and what have you. And really interesting. So well done to everyone involved with that. And hopefully in the second half hour of our program tonight, we might hear from Mark, David, who is responsible for putting that together. All right, we are going to take a quick break. We're at the halfway mark of tonight's show. We're going to play a few messages, come back on the flip side to talk about some convention appearances and hopefully hear from David. We've also got our fan favorite segment to do and This Week in History. So hang with us, folks. We've got plenty more coming up in the second half hour of tonight's show. Here is a quick break with some messages.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look! A
up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Well, fellas and girls, what I have to say will only take a few seconds, but I hope it sticks with you for a long time. It's about cleanliness, being clean in mind as well as in body. Now, believe me when I tell you that a clean mind in a clean body is important to success and happiness in life. For instance, in school, in your social life, and later when you grow up in your business contacts, the quality of the clothes you wear is never as important as the condition of them. In other words, it's never as important to be expensively dressed as it is to be neat and clean. Being neat and clean always leaves a good impression. And a good impression is important to success. Well, the same thing is true of a clean mind. So begin now to develop the habit of being clean in mind and body. Think clean and keep clean. Lack of cleanliness is usually a sign of carelessness, and carelessness indicates laziness. Remember always that carelessness and laziness lead to failure. Start now to prepare for success by thinking clean and being clean.
A PSA there from Superman on cleanliness of all things. So well done. All right. We are now going. We have a guest caller, a couple of guest callers actually. I'll first bring in our special guest, David Kocher, who was the man who we were just talking about with the Superman Reborn. Welcome, David.
Thank you. And it's just to correct the pronunciation, because
Yes,
I was
please do.
listening the last few minutes. It's David Coker. It happens all the time.
Okay.
Coker, Cola. I just had to just say that,
No,
but it's all
I'm
good.
glad you
happy.
did.
And Steve, excuse my language, you're the fucking man, dude. Dude, seriously, man. Like, if it wasn't for you and Superman Homepage, it would be very hard to spread the word. So the fact that you have this platform, and I've been reading Superman Homepage, ever since like 2002, 2001. So it's an honor. So thank you for having this space, platform to speak. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, and also too, because I think Ray is probably going to be in as well too. Just something that we wanted to just, since we're here and we have the space to talk, just that we want to announce that we're just very sensitive to what's going on in LA, because that's where we're based on right now. There's a lot of wildfires, so I just want to put that out, that if anybody's watching, if you could provide any sort of relief to Los Angeles and helping us recover, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. So just wanted to share that before we start, but I'm happy to answer any of your questions, and I'm sure Ray is too, and that's all I have to say to start.
Well, thank you, David, and welcome, Ray.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Doing well. Yes, well said. In regards to what's happening there in California, our thoughts and prayers go out to all those people affected. If you can do anything to help out, please do through the correct channels. But start with you, David. Superman Reborn, a labour of love for you. November 12th, the actual reading happened. Can you talk to us about the planning that had to go into making this happen, finding the cast, getting your hands on that script, all those kinds of things just leading up to that?
So I can start off with this. So if there's one thing I'm responsible for, it's definitely helping get the first draft. If you want to talk about casting, that's all Ray. He is the director of our show. But what was originally going to happen, and there's a couple things I want to touch up on. somebody had mentioned Gerard Christopher. I do have a little tidbit to share about that in relation to Superman Reborn, because I got some tidbit from Mark Jones. But originally, the original plan was we were going to do a third draft that leaked on the internet. And so that was the original plan. And then I got in touch with Mark Jones because he's a cigar smoker and I smoke cigars. So I got in touch with Mark, and I'd let him know that I was going to, do this script reading performance. And the first night that I met him, he pulls out the first draft, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh my goodness! And it was literally like the Holy Grail to me. I could literally hear like the choirs from heaven, like singing, like oh my goodness, and so he had mentioned that this was the draft that Mark Jones, Carrie Bates, and Ilya Salkind signed off on. This was the draft that they wanted to get made. But of course, Warner Brothers and DC, they had their notes and their revisions. And then ultimately that's what became the third draft. And there are differences. I know one of you hasn't seen it yet, but there are some differences. And I do believe that this does offer closure, a sense of closure to the legacy of Christopher Reeve as Superman, because we never really got that, coming off of Superman 4. So yeah, that's what I can say.
How did you get your hands on the script?
Which script? The first draft?
Well, and will you be publishing it online, that first script, that first draft?
Well, probably not. That's something, the cast has the script, but we kind of want to see what this reading entails. I would be interested in seeing this being made as an animated movie for DC Studios. That is something that I would like to see. Have it be set in 1992 with the likeness of Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. And a tidbit too. So Ilya Salkind, he recently did an interview on a podcast called The Hall of Justice. And I can share this with you now. This is something that I just found out in the last 6 weeks. But Margot Kidder was expected to reprise her role as Lois Lane, which was kind of like, I never really, got that. But apparently Ilya Salkind and Margot Kidder buried the hatchet, and she was expected to return on that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Ray, can you talk about the casting side of things?
Yeah, sure. So I'm part of a group here in LA called Deadline Junkies, which is we specialize in cold reads and stage reads of whatnot of various scripts and whatnot. And every week we meet in North Hollywood, and basically writers present the first act of a play or the first act of a movie or a pilot for a TV show, and then myself and the rest of the actors gather and get the parts tallied out and dillied out and whatnot. And so when David approached me with this, I had a whole stable of folks who were ready and willing to go, and I immediately knew who I wanted to cast for what. I knew everybody had especially for our ensemble, I knew that, Veronica and Caitlin and Bill, that they had these massive ranges, and so that they could play multiple characters for us. But then, of course, we have John Cahill, who is our Superman, in a lot of ways in our group, and now is here, of course, with the stage read for Superman Reborn. So it was just a matter of, working out with David when we were going to do it, making sure that all our schedules aligned. But immediately when I brought this to the group, they were all on board. And it was just making sure that we gave the right parts to the right people, and pat myself on the back a little bit. I think we did a pretty good job of figuring out who should get what. So
yeah, that was awesome. We just played a real short clip from the video a little bit earlier, and I just loved the way that it was all kind of brought together. The fact that the audience were, buying into some of the jokes, and I guess that's always a worry as a director and putting something together, is that how is it going to be received by those who are there in the audience? And I guess that must have been a massive relief, and so gratifying to see that kind of reaction as it was happening.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see live reaction. I mean, that's the beauty of theater or doing anything like this, is that you get that instant gratification. You know if something's playing or not. But we kind of had an idea. We did do one rehearsal about a week before we did the actual show, and I think that everybody had a sense that this was a good script. This was a solid script. That the jokes were going to land. That it did justice to Superman. And I think that everybody who showed up walked away very, very happy. I know me and David did, and Ilya, I believe, did, and Mark did. So and we hope that everybody who watches it now that it's out there on YouTube, we hope that you walk away with happy too, and that you appreciate, of course, what we were able to do, and this just aligning of the stars, right? Just everything seemed to come together in a perfect way. From, like David said, to him getting the first draft. To, again, being all the actors being available, to being able to get the theater, the Broadwater, which is one of my favorite spaces in Hollywood, and then everything just seemed to come together in a great way, which is fitting for Superman and for Christopher Reeve. And I'm so happy that we were able to do this and pull this off.
Awesome, Michael or Mark, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
You mentioned earlier that you had some tidbits about like the behind the scenes stuff of this. Did you get us like a outline from Mark about how the whole thing broke down from the suggestion of it to what it eventually became to it not ultimately being made?
Yes. So initially it was going to be called Superman the New Movie. And the reason why, and Mark was really on board with that title, Superman the Movie. The reason why is because they wanted to distance themselves from the Roman numerals. So it had Superman the movie, you had Superman 2, Roman numeral 2, and then you had Superman 3, and then Superman 4. So there was kind of like, okay, you know what? If we do like Superman Roman numeral 5, there might be like a negative stigma connotation because the last few entries have been kind of sour. And so that's where they said, well, let's do Superman the New Movie. And that was the root of it. And the first draft that we read from was called Superman the New Movie. But then over time with the rewrites, it eventually became Superman Reborn, and that was Ilya's idea. And that's ultimately what it became. But since we were doing this show, we couldn't call this reading Superman the New Movie. So we just said, well, if it was eventually going to be called Superman Reborn, let's just call it Superman Reborn. I mean, I think it sounds cool, sounds better. So there's that tidbit. I have actually two tidbits to share with you. This tidbit you'll get in the Q&A when you watch it, the showing at the end with Ilya and Mark. But the first tidbit about Gerard Christopher, because I had read about that many years ago as well, and I had asked Mark, I said, was Gerard Christopher ever part of the conversation about, if Christopher Reeve was to step down, would he have filled in? And he said, it came up once, but that was it. The plan was always for Christopher Reeve to reprise his role. And he did read this first draft. He did have his notes, and Jim Bowers can confirm with that as well. He confirmed that Chris Reeve did read this draft. And then, of course, Ilya and Mark confirmed that as well. Because that's the big sell of this performance, is that this was Christopher Reeve's first performance. So there's that tidbit about Gerard Christopher. Now, as far as directors that were attached to this, there was one director that was attached, but then butted heads with Ilya, and I'm going to share this bit with you. It's in the record, it's in the performance, but since we're here, just to increase a little bit of excitement and enthusiasm and with the temperature, George P. Cosmatos, and Ray pulled this from his Q&A with Ilya, but yeah, George P. Cosmatos, he was the director of Cobra and I think like one of the Rambo movies, but he butted head with Ilya. So in some Elseworlds universe, there's a Superman Reborn movie directed by George P. Cosmatos. And
awesome. Mark, do you have a question at all?
I was just wondering, I believe Carrie Bates is still around. I was just wondering if you've heard anything from him, or if Mark Jones said anything about. Okay.
Yes, I am in communication thanks to Ilya Salkind. So Carrie Bates is, I believe he lives up north in Northern California, like in San Francisco area. He's kind of a hermit, but him and Ilya, they have communication. But I was able to contact Carrie. So I've actually been texting Carrie Bates, and so he is 100% in the know, and he's excited to watch it. I don't know what his feedback or response is, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael, you were about to say something.
Oh, I was just going to make a joke that crime is the disease and Superman is the cure. If we're going to go with the director of Cobra, one of the most legendary action films of the 80s.
Deep cut.
Well, that's probably why he was considered, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Before we let you go, gentlemen, is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything that coming on tonight you wanted to get across to the fans out there?
What to get to the no, I mean, I think again, I really just hope everybody enjoys it. I hope that everybody gives it a watch. I know it's 3 hours, but you know, I know at least from our standpoint for the actors and whatnot, I think we gave it our all, and I think that yeah, I think we're just really, really proud of how it all came together, and we hope that you enjoy it. You know, that's what every artist wants, right? So, and again, thank you to David for reaching out to me, and thank you to Ilya and to Mark for trusting us with this. And yeah,
awesome, David.
Actually.
Oh, sorry, Michael.
Sorry, I have one final question for both of you before we get signed off, and it just occurred to me. I apologize for interrupting.
Okay.
You guys mentioned wanting to make it into an animated film. Would you want to get the cast together and do like an Audible production and release it as like an audio play?
I mean, it's already, I mean, I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, David, that it's the audio section is going to already be a podcast as part of, we're working with the Hall of Justice on that. So it's going to be, you can listen to just the audio that way. And we think that, yes, we could, I suppose, polish up the audio, re-record it later, add sound effects and things of that nature, and make it a true narrative podcast in a way. But I think there aren't any plans at the moment. But if there's a large enough response and a large enough demand, maybe for a more polished version. But I know that the cast, they're all thrilled with, they were all thrilled doing it. I know they'd all be down to reprise their roles at any given moment. It's just a matter of seeing where we go from here. And I think, seeing what the response is, and again, hopefully it's a good one, and hopefully people appreciate it. Then maybe we'll do more of this kind of thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
To speak on that, I mean, for me, I'm ready to go for the fucking gold. I mean, we could do an Audible. That's a cool idea, but for me, the gold is an animated movie, and I have one director in mind that I've kind of have conversations with about this. But I mean, of course, it's just an idea at this time. But what I will say is Warner Brothers does own the script, so if they want to, they can do the fuck they want with it. Excuse my language. They can do whatever they want with it. So if they decided to do an animated movie and we could reprise our roles and work on that, that would be an incredible blessing with that. But what I would love to have it be set in the year 1992, make it with the likeness of Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder, have the voice cast. I mean, John did a great job. Jonathan Cahill did an incredible job with Superman, and we have an all-star cast. I mean, the guy who does Brainiac, Jamal Henderson, he's actually in Antoine Fuqua's Michael Jackson biopic. So thanks to Ray, he really assembled, he really knows people. And but as far as closing words, I was able to help, get this started, but Ray was the one that really brought this to the finish line. And if it wasn't for Ray, we probably wouldn't have the quality of talent ensemble. So that's something that I really want to drive home with that. Ray is the fucking man. If anybody, is a great voiceover guy as well. I think he also has a podcast too called Geeks Who Like Sports. And then last plug is my editor. If it wasn't for my editor, I don't know, his name's Jacob Harlow. I can give you guys his contact information. If anybody has interest in editing inquiries, feel free to hit him up. I can provide his information. But Jacob Harlow was the guy that saved us and brought us here. So that I can say.
Yeah, I mean, just again to also point out, I love. Thank you so much for my flowers, David. But again, David was the one who brought everybody. David was the one who reached out. He's the one who had Ilya and Mark. They got the script. Then he reached out to me, and then he reached out to the crew and whatnot. This was a joint effort, and again, it all spun out from a chance meeting years ago when I was working on DC Daily, which was part of the DC Universe streaming service back when. So yeah, so it's just amazing how things happen. So.
And Ray was the best part. He was my favorite cast member. So it was just a little tidbit, since this is Superman related. How I met Ray, because he was the best part of DC Daily. He was my favorite guy. But what was circulating on the web, and if you guys look hard enough, there's a picture of Ray next to a photo, next to an unused costume of Superman Flyby, which would have been J.J. Abrams. So when I saw a picture of Ray, that's what started like my interest, and eventually what led to this. So if that picture wasn't on the web, I don't know, what else could have happened. But yeah, I'm rambling. Excuse me.
Well, thank you, David and Ray. Really appreciate you coming on tonight to chat to us about Superman Reborn. Congratulations on the finished product. It's fantastic, and just from talking to you both tonight, I have a feeling that we haven't heard the last of this.
Nope.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate you coming on tonight and discussing this with us. And we'll keep in touch.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
You guys have a good night. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Whoop. Oh, hang up on. Sorry, Mark. I hung up on you there. I was trying to press the buttons for David. And no,
we're just getting rid of everybody.
Yeah, we just get rid of them all. So thank you to David and Ray, and apologies to Mark. Here he comes. He's back on. Sorry, Mark. Press the wrong button when I was trying to hang up on there.
You kicked me out.
Good. Yeah, it kicked you out. All right. So that was really cool. Thank you to David and Ray for chatting with us tonight about Superman Reborn. All right, Michael, let's jump in. Oh, actually, before we do This Week in History, let's do the fan favorite segment of our show in the final 10 minutes.
Let's do the...
All right, the fan favorite question from last week was, in reference to Superman, what was your favorite thing about 2024? And we have a few people who responded. Who was first? Michael.
Our old friend Douglas Meacham wrote in, said, my favorite Superman-related moment from last year was attending the Superman in concert in Los Angeles. I got to mingle with celebrities from the first Christopher Reeve film before the show, and the LA Philharmonic played the score perfectly.
Thank you to Douglas Meacham, one of our sponsors and patrons and good friends. Some cool photos there from his time at the Superman in concert in LA. There he is with Ilya Salkind. Thank you to Douglas. Mark, who was next?
Alfie Falsatelli wrote, my favorite 2024 Superman moment was definitely the crypto reveal in the trailer. It brought up all kinds of childhood memories, as well as complete disbelief that I would get to see him in a live-action movie. A close second is I finally got my hands on the mail-away Clark Kent from the Superpowers line. Woo!
Thank you, Alfie. That is really cool. All right, next up was JP Rocha, who said, my favorite Superman thing from 2024 was the Superman trailer, and from that, crypto, of course. So plenty of love for crypto. Thank you, JP.
And Lorenzo Valdez wrote in, a few different super-worthy options initially came to mind for me as I pondered my answer for this week's fan favorite question. But as I already had the opportunity to give some love to those comics and TV episodes via my Shield Award votes, I am instead, opting to go off the beaten path a bit here and spotlight something in the world of Superman that wasn't included as a voting option for the Shield Awards. Talkville. I'm not sure anything gave me a more consistent dosage of joy throughout 2024 than hearing my favorite Clark Kent and Lex Luthor revisit my favorite version of Superman and the DC Universe week after week. And in 2024 specifically, they revisited my second favorite episode of the entire series, Thirst. Lorenzo, I'm gonna put a pause on this for a second. Bold, man.
Very bold.
Like Thirst is usually cited as the worst episode, despite the fact that it does feature Carrie Fisher. Getting back into it, even bringing my favorite Lana Lang back on their show to do so. Yes, Talkville is covering Superman media from 2 decades prior to 2024, but they were doing so in 2024. So I think it counts as a valid answer to this question, this thought-provoking fan favorite question.
Wow, thank you, Lorenzo. Very well thought out and very well worded. So there you go, Talkville getting a vote, the podcast from Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum. All right, well, thank you to those 4 people for their responses to the fan favourite question. Our new fan favourite question for this week is, in reference to Superman, using your crystal ball, what do you think will be your favourite thing about 2025? I imagine we're going to get probably very similar results here, but just look forward, think about what you're going to have in 2025 and let us know what you are looking forward to most in 2025. Send your emails to our email address, which is rolling across your screen right now. It is info@supermanhomepage.com. That is a fan favorite question for this week. All right, let's jump into quickly this week in history. Here is Michael's intro.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
Okay, faster than normal this week. We're going to start in 1945 with Action Comics number 82, which has Superman fighting whatever the heck that is. It looks like a turkey and an eagle had a baby. Jumping ahead to 1965, we have Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 83 with a fantastic cover. I just love that. Jimmy looks so evil. Jumping ahead to 1975, we have World's Finest Comics number 229, which has a Metamorpho background, which is kind of appropriate given the film later. And Superman Family number 170. Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane both ended and continued with Jimmy Olsen's numbering for this title, which at first was basically just a reprint book. In 1985, we have Superman Special number 3, which is much better than it has any right to be. It's a really good Amazo story. I read that a couple years ago and really enjoyed it. 1995, Superboy number 13, leading into a story. Yeah, it was pretty good, but that's King Shark, because King Shark is a shark. I don't know if people are aware that he first appeared in Superboy. We also had Superman Cal number 1, which was an Elseworld story set in pre-King Arthur times. I'll say that for it, but it's a beautiful story. And Superman the Man of Steel number 42, which has a Love Bites too. I love that cover. I really do. It's very 90s. In 2000, like seriously, that guy read all of Anne Rice's novels. In 2005, we have Action Comics number 823, which I think is Chuck Austin's last issue before somebody else came in to take over. We also had Darkness Superman number 1 when they were doing a bunch of crossovers around this time period. JLA number 110, which continues the... No, I'm wrong about that. Never mind. I'm going to skip on that. And Majestic number 1, which is actually a really good series. If anybody has a chance to read this, read the whole thing, because it is self-contained, but this spun out of the Superman books right before the big Superstorm event. And then in 2015, we have Injustice: Gods Among Us Year 3 number 7, Smallville Season 11 Continuity number 2, so 2 of the digital first books that got later reprinted as a print, Superman Wonder Woman number 15, and World's Finest number 30, which is continuing the origin of the Superman and Batman team from Earth 2. In the real world, on January 14th, Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane number 1 goes on sale in 1958. And sadly, in 2011, it was also the day that Susanna York, Lara, from Superman 1, 2, and her voice in 4, she passed away in 2011. January 15th, Phyllis Coates was born in 1927. My second favorite Lois Lane, I might add. January 16th, John Hamilton, born in 1886. It just feels weird to say. I'm sorry. And the Superman comic strip debuted on January 16th in 1939. And if you get a chance to read those, do so because they're really good. And on January 18th, Antje Trau, I've never been able to pronounce that. She probably hates me for it. Was born in 1981. And Kevin Costner, who played Jonathan Kent, also in Man of Steel, was born in 1955. And that is this week in history right there at the end.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael, for that. Now, as the show is pretty much over for tonight, I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight for watch Superman Homepage Live. Once again, thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Fountain Pell, and Tina Murray. And a big thank you to you, my co-host, Michael Bailey. Thank you, Michael.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
Mark Lax. Thank you, Mark.
Steve, Michael, thank you.
And don't forget the complete 1 hour video of tonight's show will remain available on our website and on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to watch it back in full or perhaps miss part of the show, you can check it all out. We'll be back next week on Monday, January 20th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. Look forward to talking to you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael and Mark. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Good night.